This is, I think it might be my favorite book. Um, I read this about 3 years ago, and it's called 3 Day Road. And it's about two Canadian native boys who leave the northern Ontario to go to war in France, and they're snipers, and only one of the boys return, missing a leg and addicted to morphine. And it's a really great book. It's my favorite book, and it's a good read. Hi guys, this is a video I did in early spring of this year, and it is called 3 Day Road. It is about my favorite book, and this story, which I absolutely love, is so very meaningful to me. For some reason, the whole story wrapped itself around me like a warm blanket and captured my imagination. You know, all those tired cliches. Actually, when I first got my copy, I cornered the Penguin rep at a meeting and gushed so much about how much I loved this story. And in this book, the medicine woman Niska nurses her nephew back to health after he returns from the Great War with an amputated leg and addicted to morphine. The storyline, in combination with the picture on the front of the book, is very meaningful because somehow I associate it with my son because of the how young this boy was when he went to war. And became a sniper. And well, here's the excerpt I read when I did that video. Just watch this, and I want to read I'll talk some more excerpt for you. And I opened this just at random earlier, and this is the passage I got, and I liked it. When he's gone too long without the medicine, he tells me, he becomes fragile and headaches cause him so much pain that death seems a good alternative. When he does not take the morphine, he is afraid of the world, and that is not a good feeling. I tell him that he must stop it, that his fear of being without it will leave him soon enough. I tell him that he can request a trip back to Blighty for a few weeks where he can recover. But when the golden liquid is in his veins, even at night the world is bathed in a soft light. He hears men talking, and he understands what they are truly saying beneath their words. He can make himself float from his body at will and look down at the world below him, the world that man created, and still see the beauty in it. He becomes the hunter at these times, the invincible hunter, who can lie still for hours, for days, only moving to refuel his body with the medicine, using his osprey's vision to spot the enemy. Now, I did another video where I talked about my son injuring his knee and ending up in the hospital where he needed surgery. And I found myself sitting by his bed, and the nurse coming into the room to administer medication. I asked the nurse, what kind of drug are you giving him for pain? And she said, morphine. So there I was, sitting in a hospital room by my son's bed, and watching his eyes drift, him falling asleep when the morphine took effect. And it just really struck me at the parallel between this story, this book that means so much to me, and what was happening with me. Now, the character I most connect with in this book is Niska, who is the medicine woman, the native medicine woman who nurses her nephew back to health when he returns from the war, with his leg amputated and addicted to morphine. And the excerpt I just read was just purely random, opening the book at random, and you know, later on finding myself watching my own son have that experience with morphine. And I should say too that my son is connected with the book because he once he saw me reading it, and he asked me what I was reading, and I explained to him, you know, told him about it, and he said, wow, that sounds really great. And I don't know, maybe my enthusiasm sparked his curiosity, because he said, I want to read that. So he picked it up and he started reading a few pages of this book. He never did finish it. So in a sense, we are connected with the book, with a story. And I feel connected to this fictional character, Niska. For some reason, I don't know, she just moves me. And there's also a connection with the photograph on the front of the book. I find my eyes drawn to it wherever the book is. If it's sitting on a table, if it's on a shelf, my eyes are just drawn to it. And I associate it with my son, because I always think of how young these boys were when they went to war. I just keep thinking of my own child, and what that would be like to have a child injured in war. So that's the coincidence. Thanks for listening.